Test 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you folks can hear me now. Test 1 2 for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, or social media streams. Something is obviously wrong with the trading room right now, but let me know if you folks can hear me on social. Should be good to go. Am I good to go? Got it. All right, there we go. I don't know what happened there. My apologies. I was actually running good all day up until right now, and then here we are. So perfect timing. My apologies, folks. Let's run it right from the top because I know that a lot of us were not able to hear me just from a moment ago. I appreciate us just all of us inside our live trading room joining us on social media right now, Facebook Live or YouTube, either way. TGTX, they ended up beating earnings. That's what led to this big 67+% pop. The stock ended up making a pretty strong run up here. So for right now, I'm going to put this on our watch list. I mean, hey, like I'd said before, I would expect a major resistance on this trade off of $9 going into the afternoon. It did just dip back down a little bit. So let's see a higher low build, and we'll go from there. That's all we got through, folks. It's been a bunch of audio interruptions so far here. So with that in mind, really, let's just go from top to bottom. Thankfully for you folks, didn't really miss too much. So SHFS stock is making lower highs, pretty flat here for right now going into this meeting. So I think this ended up running its course. Had enough fun on this trade. We're going to find a lot that's up, obviously, right now at the market, basically building a Fausto flag to a great degree, squeezing up towards the highs, making higher lows. So there could be a pretty big list here. We got to be pretty delicate and go through this pretty, in depth. So MNGI, it's at the highs, right? I could easily put this on our watch list for right now, but let's see what else is out there. Let's see if there's something looking sharper, something trading better volume or more volume, or, showing better, higher lows, anything. Just going to be really picky here. RPay, again, it's at the highs, but it looks like kind of slow. I don't know if I want to be stuck watching the grass grow here for the next 75 minutes. So now, NVTA, this stock we did really well on from earlier today. One of our members from our trading room, Brian W., joining us on YouTube right now. Hey, we ended up doing really well on this trade from the morning, Brian, right? Right off 250, made the under and over move from there, and ended up running up beautifully. Ended up topping off just a little over 3. But again, right now, pulling back. It's a little slow. It's got a bunch of liquidity for it to break through in order for it to even get up towards the high again. The 64,000 share order. All right, what else we got here? Carvana. This thing is this was a real nice squeeze from the morning session, but again, with a short squeeze like this, I mean, it went up with the market, mind you, but for something like this that dropped off for as much as it did on the daily, it's going to lead to a short squeeze, and with that, you get a nice reaction up. All right, well, when the volume dies off, this oftentimes dumps off pretty hard. So that's where you need to be careful on this trade. It ended up pulling back pretty sharply from the highs and still building a little support to a degree, higher lows since. So maybe I will come back to this at least at the end, put this on our main list just at the end of it all. I'm going to log out, log back in after we finish up this meeting for all of us inside our live trading room. I think I figured out my issue there. I'm hoping I did at least, because otherwise it's going to be a system-wide issue. SFIX, right now, this thing is looking pretty flat, and we'll keep it moving. ADMA, nice little squeeze up now. I memean, from the morning, it was a slow poke, but now it's starting to rev up a little bit more, breaking the highs roughly off of 307, pushing up towards 319 at the time. Kind of like one of the others that we just talked about. It has like a bunch of liquidity on the book for it to break through, so I'll come back to it, but let's see what else is out there. I'll probably say that a few different times here, folks. You got Wayfair, you got Sunrun, you got the whole semiconductor sector up huge today. SOXL ETF. We'll check out like the AMDs of the world, the NVIDIAs of the world, etc. All right, we'll check out SOXL at least while we're at it. So, this is right off the highs here. Normally, we don't trade ETFs unless if they are up big or down big and showing great direction. This is, of course, both. So we'll put SOXL on the main list. And then with that, let me just jump ahead here. We'll just jump to the AMDs. It's like pretty flat for a $68 ticker. That's the issue. I'd rather trade that ETF, if anything. NVIDIA, obviously a lot more expensive. Intel, even this, less expensive, but just flat. I feel like SOXL is more volatile just as a triple EV, but otherwise, just if you have Bookmap, this is definitely one for you to focus on. If you don't have Bookmap, it's okay because there's gonna be others we're gonna put on our watch list here. We have the TGTX already, so you got that. Let's see what else we could put on our watch list though here, folks. Yeah, you is back on the watch list. Not for right now, at least up on the gainer side. So ran up pretty nicely from the morning from 22 up towards just about 29. TWOU, this stock, I always have to show this, folks. So pardon me. I'm probably going to have to go back like 5-6 years at this point. So let me just do something really quick. I want to show you. So normally companies, when they come off earnings, they'll make like a 5% move, 10%, 15% move, something of that nature normally. Now, depending on what type of market you got, that can be different. But this day here, back from 2019, this stock ended up gapping down. It was like 50% plus by the end of it all. So that was just off of earnings alone. That's just what I remember out of this trade, TWOU. I think it may have even did that one more time before that, if I go back even a little bit further. But nevertheless, I digress. This stock ended up making a nice squeeze up from the morning, just given how much it had dropped off prior. This, again, is a potential short squeeze to watch just going into this afternoon, going into tomorrow. I like where it's at. Just again, though, I mean, you want to see it trade just a little bit more volume, but I'll slip this on here. TWOU. Give it a shot. All right, there is a hell of a lot more that is up, folks. My God, there is number 50 is up 24%. So I will need your help, at least for all of us on YouTube Live right now, Facebook Live, or social feeds. I appreciate all of our members from our live trading room kind of moving over to there right now. Rich will be on the mic inside our live trading room, so long as his audio is good to go at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I believe his is at least. But, we should get things back up and running here momentarily. Let's jump over to the loser side right now. I mean, hey, there is a lot that's down big, even with the market up because of the inverse ETFs and whatnot. But, you had some nice trades from the morning here from the loser side, namely the Viru. And I'll get to that one coming up next. So that was like where I ended up making my bread and butter. I ended up not taking advantage of really many of the runs up that we had today that moved with the market, but it was more Viru in the morning for me. The APYX, though, still down about 57%, ended up making a nice squeeze earlier from roughly like 152, 155, ran up 50 cents north. Looked pretty good. But then it started to dump off, surprisingly, on TradeStation here, my platform. This is shortable. So it actually could have been a really good short right here. Oh, man, that I am kind of itching to try and grab. I'm kicking myself I wasn't there in the first place to get it. So, hey, it could pull back a little bit more, right? This could continue as a short. But let's see what else we have, though, in the meantime. Unless if you're in from 2, I don't want to try and chase such a cheap stock on the way down as a short. But that leads me to Viru. So Viru is down as much percentage-wise, but it's obviously a little bit more expensive. So has more room to go to get to the ground floor. This stock ended up making a really strong dead cat bounce, though, once the market opened. I missed out on the initial pop, but I ended up getting in on this trade as it ended up pushing back up here. I leaned into it even before it broke the highs. Not necessarily the smartest strategy oftentimes, but with how strong it was looking and how much it was already down and the time in the morning we had, I felt like we could have had one last squeeze, and we got it. It was a really nice push even from there. Topped off at like 778. I ended up getting out of my trade, I think, at like 39 or 38, something like that. But otherwise, ended up coming back down. And from that point, I was calling it out as a short. This was an incredible short. Afterwards, I took advantage of that, got out at just like right around 7, maybe even a little under, but ended up pulling back a little bit more since. So right now, I feel like this Viru trade just pretty flat altogether here. Maybe we can keep it on our side list. Maybe this could be a good short if it could remain under 7, maybe get one more shakedown, but let's see if there's anything just looking better. Maybe more near the lows of the day. That's not near the lows of the day. This is actually down a lot, but it is trending back up pretty well. It is making a pretty decent dead cat bounce. Man, you got a lot that's down big here, folks. Got Cano, the stock actually we're pretty familiar with just from these pops and drops it's had back from mid-September. All right, then we're kind of jumping through here, realizing that there's not as much after that point. There is a lot though that's down like 25% plus. Then after that, it dies off a lot more. So just want to go through this one more time, just kind of see if there's anything I may have missed. I think that just might about do it, folks. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more that's up. I'm sure there's a lot more that we can go through from our side list. Let's do that right now. Again, for all of us inside our live trading room, Rich will be back on the mic. He actually just private chatted me. I believe things should be good to go coming up at 3 p.m. But with that in mind, though, for all of us on social media that are not members of Cyber Trading, I appreciate you being patient with me on this one call. Normally that doesn't happen with the audio glitch. But if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the yellow banner below that stream to sign up for a small trial. But with that, though, some side list stocks. NEO, we had the Chinese EVs on the pre-market list. They didn't really do much after, unfortunately. Good for a bounce here and there, but right now, NEO is like kind of hovering over 10, beginning to move back up. Mara, I was looking at this initially as a day trade, but I told us inside our live trading room, like, hey, listen, you know that I'm focused in on this as a swing trade too at some point. I'm going to take my time on it, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for a swing trade heading into the beginning of next week. This didn't really move up as much with the market coming off the Fed meeting. That was kind of surprising. I know Coinbase ended up jumping up pretty nicely, and that held over 50 pretty well earlier. I ended up jumping in and out on that as a tiny day trade, but that as well could be a nice swing over time once 50 could materialize a lot better as a support. I did miss out on Shopify. We were talking about that in our Swing Trading Pro course that we're going to actually be continuing for all of us that have access to it live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, I missed the boat on Shopify. Unfortunately, this popped up once more this morning. I mean, obviously it did with the market, but this was a great day trade, though, from the open, too. So if you missed out on it as a swing, it could have been as good here today, at least as a day trade. Right now, holding off the highs, though. All right, let me just jump to Benzinga Pro. I can't ask us inside our live trading room because most of us or a lot of us at least, are here on YouTube right now joining us live. So, hey, for Mike and Grant and Brian and Trinia, let me know if you have any stocks that you would want me to look at, anything that I may have missed. Probably have to filter out my volume scan here before we finish up. I'm just going to use Benzinga Pro here to do that. So I have a couple of trades. Check out Nine, N-I-N-E, energy stock. Wow, I didn't realize how much of a run up this thing's had lately from October onward. Huge run. It's at the highest today, looking at the 1 minute. I know that a couple of us were a fan of HUSA, which is, similar field. It ended up having a great pop earlier, but did nothing after, unfortunately. AGLE, nah, not much is happening on that one. EBIX. This thing's up 35%. Didn't look like it at first. This looked like it was on the losers list when I first glanced at it. But yeah, it ran up really well from the morning, like off lower volume. So I'm not a fan of that trade, really. Brian calling out the NVAX. Yeah, this looks really nice right now. I appreciate the heads up, Bryce. So yeah, this looks pretty nice. We've had our eyes on Novavax. I mean, obviously forever since the pandemic even started. And then since just, for as much as it dropped off, this is short squeeze potential. It ended up starting to make a bounce mid-October heading into November. And, today having a pretty nice run. I didn't really catch this until right now. So appreciate that, Brian. One of our longtime members inside our live trading room. There you go. So actually right now you have an iceberg on the ask up top at 22. How about that? Just about a 22,000 share iceberg on the ask at $22. I always feel like you'll see that every now and then. Like a 50,000 share iceberg at 5, or at 50, 100,000 share at $100, things like that. Just little quirky things. All right, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of us just joining us here on YouTube. We're going to jump back to our live trading room now. Rich will be on the mic coming up in T-minus 7 minutes. If you have any questions, though, if you're not joining us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to send it over to my email address, josh@c2trading.com. I always like to post my email here at the end of these streams. I'll make sure that all systems are a go for tomorrow, though, folks. Again, I appreciate your patience from the beginning here, but we look forward to seeing all of us inside our live trading room coming up here. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.